Magicka Warden. Is it good or not? It's hard to say. Like, I did a lot of tests and I got some good results. You also have to understand, this is kind of... I just tested on Target Dummies, but this is a Target Dummy build. Doesn't necessarily mean it will also work in a dungeon or a trial. In a dungeon probably, but not necessarily in a trial. I will do different tests. First with 3 million dummy, and then I will also show 6 million dummy with bear, without. So you kinda can look what it goes by, and this is not finished. Just tested a few things. You're using the lever to get more penetration. On a target dummy you do more damage with the lever Mundus Stone. You see, I'm also using the Witch Mother's Brew. We can actually try first without, and then with the Witch Mothers. Just to see the difference. I am now running Moon Dancer here. Then I have 5 Master Architect, 2 Elambris, 5-1-1 setup, Asylum stuff and a Maelstrom stuff. Both infused with a Shock and a Flame enchantment. Champion points, like usual, it's more or less the same. Damage ones. A little bit more into Erosion here. Because my crit is not really high, so I don't really need from the other one. Rotation. Non-existent at the moment, I guess. It is really hard to find a good rotation on a Warden, because you have 8 seconds Blockade of Storm, then you have 12 seconds Winter's Revenge, and 10 seconds Fetcher Infection. It's just really annoying. This is also 12 seconds. Really hard to actually, yeah. What we will also do is with and without Asylum stuff later on. But with the Asylum stuff, I definitely had more DPS. And this gave me the best overall DPS in terms of skill setup. Deep Fissure, I tried it, lost DPS by using it. So let's just quickly test how it goes on a 3 million dummy. Now this is with the normal health Magicka buff, remember. So we will have probably some issues, and I will apply skills on cooldown because I don't really have a... didn't really find a good rotation yet, sadly. But you see, I really struggle with resources. Nonetheless, it was actually not too bad of DPS. I could have done a few more heavy attacks and then I should have been fine. Now let's try the same thing. And you can see Fury weapon and charged weapon are pretty high. Because I use infused on both bars and I weapon swap a lot. Now let's try with the Witch Mothers. And... yeah, Elambris also does a lot of damage. Shock did more now than fire. And obviously the bear also. Now see, sustain wise, not the best, but it's weird. We will see later on the target dummy there. Will barely change whether we do on a 3 million or 6 million. Don't really know why, but that's just how it is. The DPS is similar, but we have a little more resources. Fucked up a few times, but yeah, you can see charged weapon, fiery weapon deal a lot of damage. Winter's Revenge is actually a really good dot. Blockade of Storm. Now we had a lot of bad crits. Missed like 7% crit on that thing. But Lembris again, 2.2k, so that's quite a lot. The bear overall, almost 3k, 4.5, yeah, almost 6k damage. The bear is really strong. Also the Asylum stuff, obviously. You see Burning did almost 2k. Then we have Chilled 500 and Concussion 500. The Asylum stuff for this setup. I mean, I don't really have a rotation yet because I apply on cooldown. But if you can find a rotation where you use force pulls every 2-3 seconds to keep the buff up, then it's actually pretty good. And you also see that off-balanced and vulnerability, pretty low this time, but off-balance is pretty high. It also plays a big role. Now, let's try the same thing, but with willpower, just to see if we actually get more, because I can't remember. There's something else. Yeah, I have spell damage. Oh, I forgot to use the... I've seen our sustain was a lot better, whatever reason. Damage, basically the same thing. We had a lot of bad crits here. 30 and 35, so overall it probably would have ended up being better than with Moondancer. Let's just keep this for now. Yes. As long as we're using the Asylum stuff. Now let's try the same setup on a 6 million dummy. Or let's actually first... Now let's try the 6 million. Yeah, later. We come back. Probably have to do a few heavy attacks now to sustain. Maybe it's because we have more max Magicka, we have easier means to sustain. Oh, feels weird sometimes. Basically the same DPS as before. There's not really any difference in terms of damage output, whether you do it on a 3 or a 6 million dummy, but you've seen, like, when we use willpower, we have a lot better sustain for some reason, I don't know why. Off balance and vulnerability was pretty high again. Now, just to remind you, this is a target dummy build. Like, in a raid, we would use the Apprentice Mundus to get more spell damage, but probably lose some DPS then, that's the problem. Now let's try without the stuff, Asylum stuff, because we don't use Asylum stuff anymore. We are going to use Cliff Racer, because this costs 2.4k, this costs 2.2k, a little bit cheaper, which will help a lot. Let me just place that again. 3 million. It's basically the same DPS in then. You probably might get a little bit more because the bear does more damage in execute. The only different. We still have the same setup. We just use 3 Moon Dancer and 1 piece Moon Dancer weapon, so we get 4 pieces. Now let's see if there's any DPS different. So you see, damage is a little bit lower. Sustain was actually still good. Yeah, the Cliff Racer does a lot of damage. I always went back here a little bit, because the further you're away with the Cliff Racer, the more damage you do. Something important. And yeah, we probably would have gotten about the same DPS on the big one there. That's with the bear. Now, what... Or let's actually use Necropotence instead of Master Architect. Just to see the difference, if there's any difference in damage. What them are the booties? There we go. Did I use... Now we have a lot more max Magicka. Still with the bear though. Very net. Okay. Where did my FPS go? They're about the same. Now obviously Master Architect is one benefit. Buffs group members, so on single target boss fights will obviously be stronger. But we really didn't have any sustain issues on this thing with the bear. Now let's see what we can get when we use again willpower, because willpower also has max Magicka with the Asylum. Why is the bear? We gained like 1k, something like that. Let's see. Oh, wait. Here you go. Give me the potion. With again, the Asylum weapon with willpower kinda gives more DPS. Let's say higher than the other things. Yeah, you see burning 2.3k damage, that's insane. Concussion 670 and chill almost 600. You get a lot from Asylum stuff. Like a full set with 2 monster sets, willpower and Asylum. Probably a really good setup overall. Again, I'm not sure if it really matters whether you run Moon Dancer or willpower. But here, as we have a Necro, the extra 1400 max Magicka is definitely nice to have. We could also try Julianos instead of Necro, just to see. Julianos. Okay. Now we have a lot less magic again. Dropped a lot. See. Again, about the same. A little bit more resource issues, so I think Necro is. Let's actually see the parse, if the crits. Yeah, I even had really good crits here. So I definitely think Necro is the better choice. But yeah, very small difference, like always. Bugged out, I'm still in combat. This house is nice because you can rip really fast. Let's stick to Necro. Now let's try things without bear. Here bear. This on the back bar. This on the front bar. Why? Gives us 8% more max Magicka. This obviously deals a ton of damage. Let me charge. Let's try first with the Asylum stuff again. And then without. But in the end, as you have seen, like, you can basically use any combo you want and you will get more or less the same DPS. Come on, Target Dummy. Almost. And now with the Death ulti, like without the bear, you will have lower DPS for sure. That's a guarantee. Shouldn't be by a lot though, but let's see. Okay, we are out of combat. Let me actually drink the pot. So now... yeah, on the front bar I have 51 max Magicka. That's so much. We have a low health, obviously, but... why does this never work correctly? Yeah, I fucked up in the end a little bit. Like, I reapplied dots too early and that kind of stuff. Not too bad. I think we could have hit like 36k, something like that. I didn't make too many mistakes. No, not too bad at all. I mean, everything around 35 is not bad, but obviously, if you would run the apprentice, have a little bit less deeps. Now, let's actually... Is it? Moon Dancer setup without Asylum. Okay, let's see. Now we have the pigeon again. Same thing again, like 35k, something like that. Now you see whether you use Asylum stuff or not, it's not a huge difference, but I think if you weave correctly with the Asylum stuff, you will get more for all DPS. Charged Fiery Weapon didn't do a lot this time. Charged decent, Elambris did decent. Yeah, but the Cliff Racer is really strong and it's cheap. But oh, you see, I have 42% crit rating, 41, and it only crit 23% of the times. Hey, what's that? Probably could add another 1k DPS to it if I had a decent crit rating. What's this? Like, dude. I mean, we had 30 hits and only 7 crit. Like, oh, what? Yeah, whatever. So you see, in the end, doesn't really matter what gear you use, whether you use the bear or not. The bear does a lot of damage single target, but the question is, can it survive in trials and dungeons? Dungeons probably, trials I'm not sure. Then I also think, if you have Asylum stuff, then Moon Dancer might actually be the better choice with Necro and Elambris. But like I said, this is a Target Dummy build. Let's actually do one more with the bear and with the Apprentice Mundus. So you can see the difference, if there is any. Warrior. Before I had the Lover, which gave me spell penetration. Now I have the Apprentice, which gives me spell damage. Need a little bit ulti points. I think before, what did we have? Like 40k? Something like that. Okay. Yeah, more or less. It's a little bit less, but not that much, actually. So you see, that's why I always say use Apprentice Wonderstones in trials, because it basically does the same damage and you don't have any chance of over-penetrating the enemy. That's the thing. So yeah, Wardens, they can dish out damage. But the question is just, like, most people are not used to the rotations and that kind of stuff. And I actually, like, I'm also not used to the Warden itself. So I'm very focused on my dot tracker. And we all know what happens to people that are focusing on dot trackers. They die in trials and dungeons. So I need to find a rotation for this. Or something similar. I mean, we could just simply reapply all dots in the end and just ignore the 12 second and 8 seconds at the 10 seconds timer. But then we lose like 4 seconds here and 2 seconds here every time. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. Maybe you have to swap around the bars a little bit. Another thing to mention is maybe when you have the Cliff Racer here, and obviously in a raid you don't need Elemental Drain, you could actually use this on the front bar. And then here, harness Magicka maybe, because every mob that we have here extra, every pet ability gives us more damage, increase your damage done. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10% overall more damage. That's a lot. I'm actually not. Yeah, that's probably it. So yeah, that might be another option, that we reapply maybe those two together or those two, and then this separately on cooldown. But yeah, we will see. Hard to tell yet. And obviously we also can't go into the raid with this health pool. Gonna get wrecked. The thing is, when I did max health and max Magicka, I just do more heavy attacks, but the DPS more or less stays the same. It's just less interesting because I really hate heavy attack. But for now, that's it. If you have any suggestions on how to improve the DPS or any rotation, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Thank you for watching. See you soon.